Not really. I kind of tend to consider video games single-player things more often than not. I don't mind that guys enjoy a cartoon destined for little girls, although I don't see why they have to make a big deal out of it other than a vain attempt at trying to protect their identity as males, I get. It's just weird. Like, why make a big deal out of it? Why make a name out of it? Just seems pointless. But if I can say anything about it, pretty okay, but the throat's starting to hurt. Still friends with sense. In fact, I tend to give her a ride to home in the evenings because no buses are, like, open by the time we end around midnight. Yes. Well, I'm pig-headed. When I just kind of go at a thing until it works, or until I find a way to make it work. Sometimes it can backfire, yes. But, yes. This is very imprecise and vague. I guess it's my favorite free-to-play game because it's the only one I've really played any length. But I did like Champions Online just because I like to make dudes in the editor. Then I go in the actual gameplay and I play for like 5 levels and I'm like, oh man, gotta make another dude. And that kind of went on for a little bit. I like to draw, I like to read, and I like to play video games, and I like to chew loudly, and I like to, you know, read. I read a lot. A lot of non-fiction. I like to read about stuff. Already, other than being, you know, casual acquaintances, other than Pink, for which I've talked a bit more with, but that's about it. Not really. Yes, I do. Already kind of answered, and that's fine, man. I'm kind of one of those rare people that actually did rather enjoy the latest Batman movie, no matter what a lot of nerds think. I think it's fine. Yes, there are plot holes, but it was enjoyable. This is how I'm doing this! It's a terrible idea! Cave Story is another game that I just kind of spoiled for myself by watching a Let's Play or 5 of. Used a bit, but I'm terrible with it, unfortunately, and that's really my fault. This is how! Man, don't make me go to 10. I don't even know if I know 10 that are good. Manga/anime that I haven't mentioned before, something I would suggest is Lucifer and a Biscuit Hammer. It's pretty good. You should check it out. It's a series that's ended, so, you know, there's an actual end to it. It actually did end properly and everything. Yeah. Polar, duh. Right answer is Super Nintendo, and I'm fully aware this is 100% nostalgia speaking. I think they're Goomba ghosts. I mean, Goombas in Super Mario World are around. However, Boos did start in Super Mario 3. There's Chomps that are around. Maybe they're Chomp ghosts. No. Garlic fettuccinis? No, those flat noodles with Angus meatballs, because this way I get a little bit of everything. So if I feel more pasta, I take a serving with more pasta. If I feel more meat, I take a serving with more meatball. It's all in having something that's hyper-precise with a lot of stuff in it. Rainbow Dash. I guess so, although if it's a good or bad thing, that's really another question entirely. Oh boy, what about? Nope, Super Nintendo through a USB converter. Super Nintendo controller, I mean. Well, basically, I turn on the game, then I film with Camtasia, then I save the file from Camtasia, then I load it in Windows Movie Maker, then I edit it, and then I save the edited file, and it's the correct time I upload it on YouTube. Like, I don't really know what else there's to say there. My games, yeah. Never probably, if I have anything to do with this narrative. Not thousands of dollars per hour, that's for sure. I eat human food. I've mentioned these. And already did. A working job. Man, only buy one. It's pointless to buy more than that. Like, be realistic. I'm not gonna lie. VVVVV's music is pretty amazing. Feels kind of unrecognized. LPs that I've always looked forward to seeing, huh? This is pretty hard to answer because I've just watched so much. So did I have anyone that really made me, alright, yes, this is ready, I will watch this? Now I know there's been some, but it's just not coming to mind for some reason. Well, one I very much enjoyed is Dark Id's Chrono Cross LP. That one was pretty good. Otherwise, there wasn't one LP of that Something Awful made Final Fantasy III ROM hack just to see all its insanity. That was pretty neat too. Would it be a favorite though? I'm not sure. Like, I need more time to think about these, and I'm just kind of answering these all the cuff, and I just don't feel like it's a, you know, good answer. Really enjoy Chips and Ronicus's No More Heroes LPs too, but like, I don't know if it's so much, I think it's just the game there that I find neat. You know, not necessarily the LP. That's where things get tricky. Alright, I don't really have any needs to, like, I'm not big on live streaming, so I don't really watch it either. Money doesn't make happiness, but you kinda need it to live. Rosemary. I like that Japanese ROM hacks are not afraid of just, you know, they're not afraid of their identity as a Japanese ROM hacks, which is an interesting change from a lot of Western-style ROM hacks, which are much more concerned about making something that looks and feels like an actual game instead. And I've always liked that contrast. Yes. I'm terrible at rhythm games, so don't expect any videos of that, except for that one series where I was basically getting destroyed by fan-made Beatmania-style games, and, yes. Pressing the wrong button. Nope. I just don't have the time nor really interest, and no. She's pretty special indeed. They don't call you, they call you. Could be better, but could be a lot worse. Quebec, isn't that kind of obvious? I actually don't really like horses that much in real life. If you think about it, or if you try to force it, it will always sound awkward and terrible. Heck no. Nearly 2 meters. What, you mean Tanguy? I kind of answered that before. It's really more of a time and availability issue than anything. As of now, you know, I don't have a lot of time with my friends, period, so find time to do a collab sort of thing like that is becoming more and less unlikely. Yes. Kirby 3. Awesome! It's not really anything y'all could really do other than being there, let's be honest here. Just being there really is a big part, is doing a big part, and I appreciate it a lot, and I'm not asking more of y'all, you know? Other than a friendly message here and there, and that's really all I need. It's enough to stave off a lot of the negativity of a bad day, let's be honest. Actually, no, I think it's neat. And maybe it seems kind of narcissistic in a way, but I really like to see what people do sometimes. It's a lot of creativity sometimes happen. I think it's, you know, it's really neat. I don't know really why I try to keep my channel mostly PG. There's not really any reason, because in real life, you know, I don't swear a lot, but if I'm mad or something, I will. When I get mad at a video game, I just swear in French, so most people just don't realize it. There's Sever. Well, yes and no, because in French, swearing isn't as big as a deal, period, as it is in English. Like, in terms of strength, tabernac's pretty much on the same level as the F word, but you'll still hear it in, you know, primetime TV if the situation calls for it. It's just not that big of a deal. People like us, so I'll refer to them there. Okay. Just really don't really see the attraction anymore. Like Pokemon, all the Pokemon games are essentially the same thing, just with more and more systems and complexity now, which is not something I'd consider really appealing. I actually do love singing. Sure. Well, I work at a place with a bunch of nerds, so I'm pretty much on equal terms with everything there in terms of general interests and whatnot. And, well, although, you know, AOD is one of my biggest friends, and we're extremely different other than being generally nerdly inclined. But, yeah, I really don't know how to answer this. Also, Square. Video games. I actually kind of like being, you know, reserved and on my own, so if I had the presence on real life that I had online, I'm pretty sure I'd find the experience fairly bad. And I'm quite glad that it's kind of limited to online, to be perfectly honest. I kind of like things how they are. I don't know. I think there's something to say about, you know, trial by fire and just throwing a thing at you. I guess it depends how integral it is to the game and how much it changes the rules. If it's a new enemy, go ahead and throw it in. But if it's something, a very important gameplay mechanic, please do ease it in. If, you know, there's a distinction. And that's the most important one. The answer to all three is the same. I wonder why a lot of people ask this, but it's just, there's just nothing to answer. Definite chocolate. Yeah, this wasn't well thought out of me, wasn't it? Oh no, I was pretty much always the quiet one, even if I was pretty big. Yes, yes, another, yes, 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 okay. Alas, is not a thing that I can actually answer. Could be interested, although Voxotron's pretty neat, but it's really good in like tiny chunks. So I'm not sure how best that would work. When is it going to be released? I don't know. There's a lot done, but there's still a lot to be done. And refer back to the video in the past. I may have mentioned at some point words. I'm not a regular watcher, but I do get DVDs of stuff. I guess that's how I consume things, which is why answering these, you know, I don't follow the season. Which is good, because apparently, like, every season, all show is bad but one. Random.org is useful, man, whenever you need to, like, flip a coin or something. Before I, what? You've had, what? Oh, basically the games that were not blind? The 2 second reality projects were not blind. Kirby 3 was not blind. Were there any others? I think that VIP 4 was partially blind, but not all of it. I think. Yes. And actually a bunch of the VIPs too were not blind. It's hard to, but most of it is. It's hard to. My fluency in English is essentially a result of moving into English Canada for a big chunk of my youth. And, you know, although I had a home life in French, school life in French, I still, you know, otherwise was always in English. I just kind of absorbed it. I look like a dude in a kaleidoscope, oddly enough. Cats, well, some sort of feline, I guess. Green stuff. Fart. A rock. Too messy. Well, I'm only really aware with Persona 4, to be honest, which I think is pretty neat, but that's about all I know of the series is from that one game. Oreo? Does that count, or is that too much of a novelty? Otherwise, it'd be chocolate swirl. If that's too much of a novelty, chocolate. Nope, gone. Vidler ate it. Doubtful. I don't know you.